What makes your work meaningful?
Well, one of the transitions I've gone through in my life has been looking at the kinds of work that I get to work on. And it's not something when you're starting out you really get to choose. In a way, the market chooses you. There's needs in the market, and there are skills you have. And you just kind of do what lets you survive. So in my career, I started out doing web design. And a lot of the work that I've done no longer exists or is even relevant or current because we're working in an environment that had a lot of limitations. The limitations of internet delivery speeds, the limitations of the number of colors a screen could show. And a lot of that work maybe helped future generations of web designers get where they are, but it doesn't really matter or exist anymore. I was involved in even launching some incredible sites and brands, and they're still around, but my work doesn't exist anymore. So to make my work meaningful now is I'm looking to do things that almost have a permanence. And so myself and my partner, we've shifted to focusing primarily on brand identities, actually developing work that is permanent. You make an identity, hopefully, and it lasts a long time, as well as making films and photographs, because they actually become a record of what's happening that people can look back at and learn from. And particularly in the film space, we're looking at this really kind of crazy idea, but it's films about the future of companies. Looking at and dissecting the energy that's inside the company at a time, and organizing the leadership of those companies through video as a tool to make films that represent the possible future of a company that can be used to excite their staff and excite their public or their customers. And instead of just making any kind of film, we're trying to focus specifically on a documentary style that will allow for companies to see themselves. A lot of times, you think a company has a CEO and it's their vision, but typically it's a vision of a group of people working together. Mm-hmm. And there really isn't a great way of synthesizing that language into a very easy to understand element. Sometimes people write mission statements and they don't necessarily feel authentic. Mm-hmm. And so we've had this experience working with a number of our clients, helping them discover who they are. And it's been extremely meaningful to see the results of those types of pieces. We're working with a museum, and we've interviewed 8 people in their senior staff. Mm-hmm. And there's a tremendous amount of change happened at this museum, and we were able to capture them talking about their future, their past, where they're going, what their challenges are. Yeah. And then we've organized that into a film that really perfectly says who they are and where they're going. And when they saw it, I think it kind of freaked them out because they didn't know what to do. They're like, this is us. Is this what we want to be? I don't know. But it was very, very exciting. And so that to me was very meaningful in that we were able to show a company or an organization where it could go in a very illustrative way that hopefully inspires them.